Hi, everybody. It's me, Carol, from Healthcare Potholes with Christian Faith. Want to start off my video clip by making a correction. When I talked about the other day a Karen that was doing video clips, her last name was Wheaton, not Watkins. So, Wheaton. So, anyhow, I heard a second sermon by her, and boy, she's doing good. And I just spent some time listening to a guy that is, I don't know if he's Ukraine or Russian, but his first name is Vlad Suvtek, something like that. And he's, I think, down around the Houston area by the sounds of it. And I could be wrong. So if I need to stand corrected, I'll correct it on the next video clip. But he was talking about 5 ways to get to know Christ. And I thought, wow, that sounds like a good sermon. I'm going to listen to that today and get my shot in the arm, among other things. So as I listened to him, he talked about that, as we're going through our culture right now, there's such divide in our country. And he was saying that that's not what Jesus wants. Jesus wants all of us to get along. And basically is what he was saying. And he says, you go to certain churches, they might be all white churches, all African American churches, all India churches, all this and that. And he says, we need to start having other cultures in those churches, and that would be just music to God's ear, basically. And I got thinking, he is so true about that. Growing up in a melting pot, that's what I was always told our country was. And I think that's what Jesus would like. He loves all people. He was born into Judaism, and he was considered a rabbi in his walk. And that means that he had the Jewish faith, but he still loved all people. And if you look at his disciples were from different walks of life as well. And as he gets his disciples down here on earth, which I believe he is doing, they're all from different walks as well. And I thought, boy, that's really good. And he talked a little bit about his finances and how he gave all his money away, and then he started giving his cars away. And then all of a sudden, he started getting his finances straightened around, and things worked out. And so God has you go through kind of like a wilderness walk. And he says, as he got close to God at one point in his life, he asked him to do a 40-day fast. He said, I'm going to be dead. God says, well, you have a little adipose tissue there that you can feed off of. So I thought that was pretty funny. I mean, boy, that's good. Now, I don't know with my electrolytes if God would get there and tell me to fast. He might say fast for a day or 12 hours, but I don't know. It'd be interesting, but I'm not going to chance it. So I'm just going to play it safe and work on other things that he draws me to. He talked about when you hear God's voice speaking to you, and if you ignore it, then he won't get too loud. Then if you ignore it a second time and a third time, he hits the mute button. So when you start hearing his voice, you better start listening and doing what he recommends. That's just like me with the walker and not putting it up by the step. Instead, I turned and put it where it normally goes, and I fell, and boom. And it took me a while to overcome that. I said, you were so right. I should have listened to you. I think that was music to his ears, actually, to be honest with you, that I agreed I should have listened, and I didn't, and it was my fault I didn't listen. And God was definitely good on that aspect. But he talked about Bible verses, and I'm going to go back and kind of do a quick study on them and see just where it takes me in my walk, and if I want to share it with parts of my life. But he talks about Christ coming into your life when you accept Christ and you're born again, and just what does that all entail. And his 5 things were really dynamic. So if you can find it on YouTube, please go listen to it. He has a lot of yelling he does, but it's very powerful. And I got a lot out of it. So I just wanted to say that I hope everybody has a good day. There was a lot of tornadoes down south, damaged a lot of people's lives and homes and stores and just all sorts of things. And it was a big tornado that went through a big area and several areas. And it kind of went up through Alabama and Mississippi and Louisiana, Tennessee, Georgia, and that area. So I want to keep all those people that have lost their livelihood, their jobs, their houses, their families, gotten injured. Maybe some of them have died and left loved ones behind. Let's keep them all in prayer and really pray for their help and their comfort and everything. And they're going to have more videotape this morning about things. There was also a chocolate factory that exploded in Pennsylvania and East Reading, killed 2 people, injured many. So keep them in your prayers as well as we go into the Sabbath tomorrow, Sunday. And God always welcomes prayer, so let's pray for our fellow Americans. Let's keep on praying for those up in Ohio, where the train derailed and caused a toxic dump up there. I'm sure that's still going on in their lives and hasn't been rectified. So I think East LA also had a tornado. I don't know what all damage it did out there, but keep them in your prayers. Lots of flooding out there. So our country is going through a lot, needs a lot of healing. So let's all pray to God that our country gets healed and starts to rebuild, and all people might not ever get their life back after going through a natural disaster and losing loved ones. We can pray that they get comforted. So in that, I want to end on that note and say have a good day. Stay in faith with Christ, and we'll talk later.